I was walking to class a few weeks ago. It was nothing special, same path that I take every day, and I stopped because the light that was coming through the trees were hitting the pavement at this angle, and it was making these long, sharp shadows along the ground. And my first thought wasn't, oh, that's pretty. It was, oh, that's a nice shot. And I stood there for a second, genuinely framing it in my head where I'd place my camera, what the focal length would be, whether I'd expose for shadows or for highlights, and then I kept walking. But something about that moment stuck out to me because I didn't decide to see it that way. It just naturally happened. There's something that happens when you spend a godful long enough time with a camera. Now, ordinary things have weight to it. The way someone sits in a chair, the way a shadow a lamp throws across the wall, or that specific quality of light at 5 p.m. in October compared to July. And most people, I feel like, don't really notice this. And I don't mean that as a criticism, they're just simply not looking for it. But once you've trained yourself to frame things, to ask constantly, what does this look like? Or why does it feel like that way? You can't really turn it off. It rewires something. I think what actually happens is this: filmmaking forces you to be present at that moment. You just can't simply compose a shot while you're on autopilot. You actually have to look at what's in front of you: the light, the space, and the person. And that habit of actually looking starts bleeding into almost every single aspect of my life. Here's what shifts specifically. You start reading rooms differently. You walk into a space, and before you register anything else, you've clocked where the light is coming from, whether it's flat or directional, or whether the shadows are doing anything interesting. You start watching people's faces the way a director would do it, not to analyze them, just to notice it. For instance, it can be noticing that micro expression before someone answers a question, or the way someone's eyes move when they're genuinely thinking versus when they've already made the decision. And you start feeling the geometry of spaces. A long empty hallway feels completely different from a cramped room, and you just understand why. Not intuitively, but structurally. You know what a wide lens would do in a hallway, and you know what that silence in the room is worth. And maybe the strangest one is you start noticing something is cinematic before you even realize. And it's like your eyes start developing taste, and it starts applying that taste to everything else, not just footage. And I think most people assume that filmmaking is a technical skill. You learn the camera, you learn how to edit, you learn how to color grade. Don't get me wrong, it's all of those things, but underneath all of it, the thing that you're developing the most is perception. It's this ability to slow down and actually see what's in front of you, to ask why something feels the way it does, and to be present enough to notice that light changing before it's gone. And that's simply not a filmmaking skill, it's a life skill. And I genuinely think this is one of the most underrated things in this craft. Everyone talks about storytelling, techniques, gear, but nobody talks about what it does to the way you move through the world. You simply become a better observer of people, of spaces, of moments that most people just walk right past. And those moments, the light on the pavement, the shadow across the wall, the face in the window, they were always right there. You just finally learned how to look. If any of this resonated, I've got a whole catalog of shorts in my short section that break down the specific things that I'm seeing. And so, light, spaces, color, the actual vocabulary behind it, and go find those. It will start hitting differently now. And if you find this video resonating with you, you know what to do. It really means a lot. And with that, I'll see you in the next one.